I knew that this place in some shape, form, or fashion would continue on. But to be honest, I didn't know what form it was going to be.
I didn't know how long we would be down, but I knew Richard was really adamant about getting a new location.
At a certain point, you do get concerned that you may not have a home. And you have to keep reminding yourself eventually things will work out. But at the same time, when you're in the middle of it, it's very hard to see the end goal. It's kind of hard to see that end zone and know that, yeah, you'll be able to spike the ball someday, but it's going to be a long time. So then it's like, well, you know, how do we keep it together? How do we stay connected?
There's enough love for what we had built up between the people who had been there for a really long time to the people who were just starting to come into the troupe. There was an enthusiasm about wanting us to be able to continue Comedyworx, so I knew that in some form or fashion we would continue.
We were going to figure out something. I mean, it's too dynamic an organization with many people that was going to keep it going. So I knew we'd work something out.
I joined in 2000. I had the perspective of being in 3 different clubs, so to speak. So we were at City Market right down from Big Ed's restaurant, and it's very much changed now. I forgot what it is now.
And the landlord at City Market was a total pain in the ass. He made us sell something for lunch. So we came up with the easiest thing we could possibly do for lunch, sell hot dogs. And it was called Eat Mo Dog. Great name for a hot dog place. And we were doing great. We sold probably as many as 10 hot dogs over the entire year that we were trying to sell them.
That arena was a very, very cavernous room, and the voice booth was way high, and there were sky box seats above the voice, but there was also a room in the back for kazoo in the land of that. So it was interesting. There was one toilet, and that was it for everybody.
It was ready to do anything to get out of there, but it's so hard to find a usable building for what we do. And I think I was just driving down Peace Street to get my usual dozen Krispy Kremes, and there was a available sign on the building. It was vacant for years.
We found out we were moving to an old chiropractor's office of all things. We went in there and it was like, oh boy, I don't know about this. So, and from my recollection, we went dark, and we've moved out at the end of, I think, either October or November. We were dark for 3 weeks, and then we started doing shows in that new place. Even though I wasn't ready, we did shows anyway. One of the big discussions is that when we were in City Market, one of the things they had was kind of like TGI Fridays. There was stuff all over the walls. So when we moved in, we're like, no, we're not going to have stuff on the walls. And there was a discussion of, well, maybe we need some stuff on the walls. So everybody put stuff on the walls. And they were like, well, maybe we don't need to have stuff on the walls. So all the stuff came down.
Being there for the first time was, it was very interesting. My first experience in the location was actually as just a patron. There was a coupon for Comedyworx in the entertainment book. So, we decided to go and check it out. Lori wasn't exactly thrilled with the decor. It was like a thrown together, but we loved the shows. So 6 months later, I signed up for a class. That was my only experience with Comedyworx, was the Peace Street location.
I started going to Comedyworx when I was in grad school, and it was a great relief because I kind of hated grad school a little bit, but I got to meet a bunch of people, and it was awesome. The building was okay, but it was really the people that made me stay.
There was no dimwit house. There was no back room. I think the players' room was much different. The ceiling was white. There was no voice booth. Voice booth didn't come till a few years later. Over one of the holiday breaks, it just magically appeared one day. So it was always a work in progress, as we all know.
We were only there for 17 years. I mean, what's going to come up?
I thought you told me at one point the roof was leaking and you had all sorts of things you had to do with it.
That wasn't funny. Believe me.
Oh, the roof. That's fun. The cascade of bins. Like if you go to the container store, like giant bins.
And there must have been 20 pans in the ceiling collecting water from the leaks.
So the water would leak into one, and then once that filled up, it would leak down into another. So it was a nice little waterfall type thing. And in order to clear them out, there was this tube that you stuck into there, and you did the whole siphoning gas thing, and then the water would come out. Otherwise, you would just leave the water and let it evaporate.
I didn't really know how elaborate that was. I just thought it was like, there's a bin that caught water, and that was it. No, I poked my head up in there. It was like looking in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory for the first time, and just seeing this amazing elaborate setup of tubes and bowls and tubes. And
the most interesting time that happened, I think Vladimir did it with a candy cane, which is hilarious. Also, I felt for him because there was some dirt in there, and I think it got a little bit in his mouth. Bless that guy.
We had a sink in the back that was never hooked up, and behind concessions. One of the things we had at City Market is we actually had a working sink, and the reason I know this is because we used to sell nacho cheese, and it was nacho cheese from the pump, right? And so because of the health violations, we had to wash that thing every Saturday night. Had 5 pieces and ball bearings, and there's nothing like getting that wonderful smell of Senor Carlos's nacho cheese over your hands at the end of the evening and having to wash it. It was just totally disgusting. When we moved to the new place, I think we still had the pump, but we never got the sink. So I think people had to go to the bathroom to go wash it out. It's just not a good idea. But that window that way too many improvisers jumped out of for no reason other than they can jump out of it. That door that would never shut after about 6 weeks, because it just kept getting slammed and slammed. Eventually someone would fix it, but then it would just keep, it would never shut properly ever again.
The only thing in that building that actually worked well was the air conditioning. I would say that it worked a little too well because people would freeze their asses off in that theater.
What I liked about P Street was nobody could tell us what to do there.
Being really close to Krispy Kreme and a good burger joint. I guess its location was a perk. You could walk to a lot of stuff on Glenwood, which was awesome. When we left, there was that new hot dog place / bar right up the street. It's the best hot dogs. Let's get real.
One thing that people may not know is that in October before we closed, I asked Richard if my daughter could have her birthday party there. And it's funny because when I was coming over here today, I actually saw a picture of me and her on stage where she's thanking everybody, but it's at the old club. And so not only do I get sentimental because it's my daughter, I get sentimental because it's the old club.
The roof was leaking. It was leaking worse. The building was falling apart. We were at the point of needing to get 2 new air conditioners, which was easily $40,000 to get a crane to put them up on the roof. Plus, I knew once that developer took over the area, we'd lose all our parking. We'd have our parking lot, but the camera store, the building behind Comedyworx was going to be fenced off. So parking was going to be a real problem. Plus, now it's a real dreary, dark area while the construction's going on. So wasn't very amenable to having a club there.
I was very concerned because it was our home, and we were When we moved from City Market, there was a plan. We knew we were going someplace. We had a location secured, and so we knew that. This was different for the fact that we didn't know where we were going. There was a lot of stress going on because obviously we didn't know. We knew that at a certain point we were going to go dark, and we did not know when that was going to happen, when we were going to be able to open again, if we were going to be able to again.
I had heard inclinations about, the redevelopment of that downtown area. So I pretty much had an inclination because I know how much work the building needed, how much the roof needed to be repaired and all of that. So it was something that I knew was coming, but when Richard made the actual announcement, it hit me, because as soon as he made the announcement, it was real. It kind of took me aback a little bit. I had to kind of absorb it, so it affected me. It was upsetting.
I think we had lunch at some barbecue place downtown, and that's when he told me.
What was your reaction?
Pretty, okay. Because in that conversation, he said he wanted Comedyworx to continue, and he wanted me to help with making sure that it continues.
Hi, I'm Philip Boyne. I'm an assistant director here at Comedyworx. Comedyworx is moving, and we need your help. We're starting a Kickstarter, and we need your contribution to move. We need to raise at least $40,000 to move into a new establishment and set up.
That terrified me. Getting our Kickstarter campaign done, that was probably the most stressful part. Once we had the funds, it's just about doing the legwork, but getting the support and the backing from our players and our fans, that was terrifying. So when we met that goal, it was a lot of relief.
At first it was scary because of the amount of money we needed to raise, trying to do everything we could to promote it, to try and get people to get the word out, to get people to donate.
Set a very, very lofty goal. The people that are in the club we're going to contribute, but for us to really pull it out, we're going to have to go outside of our community. We're going to have to go to friends and neighbors and almost complete strangers and talk to people and convince them that we need to keep this going.
Raleigh's first and oldest improv comedy club must move by the end of the year.
For the first couple of weeks, it was really slow.
I'm asking for your help as we start on this new mission and this journey to find us a new building. To do that, we need your help in two specific areas. One, we need your financial support.
You have that stress of, oh no, are we going to get enough? And then all of a sudden, it just kicked in. People just started donating. The amount grew. When we saw that outpouring of support and we saw that we met our goal, that was astounding.
The biggest challenge is that not only do we have to find a space, do we have to keep everything together, we also have to raise money, and we have to figure that out. So I think that was a huge challenge, but like most of the stuff that's done here at this club, we came together and we did it.
Once people saw money, I think it's one of those snowball effects where people started seeing more support, and when they started seeing more support, it kind of, rolled in. It was amazing. It really was amazing to see that come to fruition.
I thought it was phenomenal. I think the folks who put it together and ran it did a wonderful job. I was amazed at the amount of money that was raised.
Hey David, I just want to say thank you for supporting our club.
Hey there, Liz. The future of Comedyworx was rather frosty until your donation heated it up.
Mary Schneider Breedlove, thank you so much for your donation. We really appreciate it.
There was a building right down the street that I thought was perfect for us to move into, and unfortunately we wasted probably 2 months trying to work out a deal on that building.
Can you elaborate? What was some of the issues that?
Well, just the cost. I mean, we ended up with a proposal to upgrade the building. to put in absolutely essential stuff like a bathroom and things like that. And I think the proposal was for $300,000, which, just was out of the question.
I was just hoping we wouldn't end up in a strip mall. That was it. Otherwise, like, no expectations or fears or anything. Just no strip mall, please.
We wouldn't be performing improv for a while. Like, we didn't know how long it would be. We didn't have a place in mind necessarily that we were going to go to. So it was kind of the absence of the community in that way. I mean, it would still be a community, but we wouldn't be getting together regularly like we've been. There was the gap between our last P Street show and then, starting up practices again.
We just didn't do enough shows. We didn't have enough opportunities to perform.
We did some practices at NC State, at Meredith College. Then we moved over to Good Nights for about 2 months. Everybody really made a strong effort to make it work best that we can, which is, I think that's the defining characteristic of Comedyworx, is that we always will find a way to make things work in the best possible way.
I got a few leads from people, and I'd follow up on them. I had already approached this place once. Kevin Griffin mentioned it again, and I hit on it a second time, and that led to us getting this space. I got a lease the other day. I signed it.
This transition time, we've been helped out by a bunch of theaters in the community. We were at Good Nights for a while. I have some big news to share. We're at the bakery on Hillsborough Street.
I had been in this place a couple of times, but I was not aware of it. I knew that our friend Sonoris had moved in next door. A lot of the details were being purposely held back, so then, of course, that's going to make me want to know more about it.
You do the whole, I'm going to peer in the window thing, and, like, what can we make the space be? How can it work? Where's the voice booth going to go? How are we going to make the light, how are the lights going to be? How's the sound going to work? All of that stuff. So that's what started going through my brain.
You get in and you see the space, you look at the opportunities, you look at the pros and the cons, the goods and bads. Yeah, that's why you have the facts of life. Sorry, it's awful. You can add that out.
We didn't do any heavy-duty construction, really. Most of the work was electrical, putting receptacles in the right place, lighting, and then building a stage.
How the stage looks now blew me away. Between Ashley and Jeff Nugent, he's like set designer, works over at Sonoris and some other things. His skill was absolutely amazing. It blew my mind. It exceeded every expectation. We as a club owe him and everybody who helped us over at Sonoris an immense debt of gratitude. I don't know if we'll ever repay it, but they can come see shows whenever they want for free, so that's a start, I guess.
The people who were on the stage with me stuck with Comedyworx through this, and they were also very, I think, happy and proud to be there. So there was that feeling of, wow, this is new and this is exciting. When the lights were on, you could see that in people's faces, because we had a problem with the lights the first show.
I was very fortunate enough to be the ref of the first show. I was very honored to do that. We'd never really done a show here, so we're trying to get used to it. I mean, obviously at Peace, I'm used to the dimensions of this room. I know this is kind of where after knowing like, here's the sound, here's what the light, I'm like trudging through the rest spiel, and then, about 6 minutes into it, lights go out. Complete darkness. Everything goes dark. Apparently, our good friends at the Royal Bakery building are prone to having power outages. Meanwhile, I'm hoping that the lights come back on, and I'm continuing to do the rest spiel, and they're not coming back on. So, I continue on the rest spiel, and we start singing a song. I invite people to break out their flashlights like they're at a U2 concert. And so that was my introduction to this place, is having the lights completely go out.
I know nothing about stage lighting at all. And guess who was doing the lighting for when we first opened in September? So the first thing was all the lights were set to white. And I don't know if you saw pictures from the first show, but everybody looked like zombies. The lighting came straight down, so it was basically just, you just saw the people. You didn't see the backdrop. You didn't see the back of the stage. And everybody looked, like they looked like they were ghosts. So you're welcome. We learned a lot from, between when we did our first show in September to when we did our first show in August. We did a lot of adjustments between getting the help of Mimi and Dennis to help us position the lights properly so you can see the stage, as well as adjusting the color of the lights so people looked like they were alive. So that was helpful. And also Anthony Buckner over from Sonoris, he was our chief consultant for all the AV stuff. He helped us pick out the lights. He helped us pick out, all the sound equipment. He was the person that helped us make that happen.
We got the stage built, so everything was safer. Everybody felt comfortable.
It was an auspicious beginning to our short form career here, but we definitely took care of that, and we got our stage built out. So hopefully we are better prepared for that, knowing that it could happen. It's happened. We've lost power a couple of times since then, but we know it's a possibility, so we'll keep that in mind.
How does it feel being the general manager?
It's fun. It's exciting to talk to everybody about all their problems. No, it's good. For a while, I've been, doing the teaching and stuff, and I think I was somebody that people could come to, and now it's just kind of official. So I don't think there's actually a huge change in what I've been doing. It's just that now there's a title to it.
Running out on stage for the first time, doing our improv show and our games and everything, it was invigorating. It was the culmination of a really long journey. It wasn't the work of one person, it was the combined efforts of a lot of people who worked really hard to make our dream of being able to move to a new theater a reality.
I love that we finally got something that is more of a theater. I know we had a great thing going on at Peace and West, but here it's even better. We've got an actual stage. We've got wings. We've got a house that we've got audio visual. We've got monitors everywhere. Before it was just like the one monitor. That was it. It's more a vision of what we want to have, and building it from the start up, rather than going in and saying, okay, well, this used to be a chiropractor's office, so how do we make it to a theater now? How do we change everything?
I think this is better than Peace Street. We're getting an audience that is probably equivalent to what we would have had at Peace Street. Peace Street didn't happen overnight either. When we moved in there, we didn't have any flooring. A lot of construction needed to be done. We gutted the place, and it just took time to get everything going. Actually, things are happening here faster than they ever happened at P Street.
We always have things to do. Improv is a great art form, but it's reminding people that we're here. It's like any business. They'll come once, and then you have to remind them, no, come back. We're still here. We're still doing this. I mean, we've been doing this for 27 years. I've said this, I've said it lots of times. We've had people come in the doors and say, man, I remember when you were back at City Market. That's the, is that the last time you saw us? Yeah. And they're like, that's been like 16 years ago. Yeah. I'm here now. I'm like, okay, come back. No, don't wait so long. We put on great shows. We do shows over 100 nights out of the year, more that we've had now. We've added Thursday nights in the mix, and other shows along the way. So it's our challenge to get people in here and see what we do.
When I first moved to North Carolina and came to Comedyworx, I didn't know what it really felt to belong. You belong to your family, you belong to your group of friends, but I didn't really know what it was like to belong to a community before. Just going to a place where you're just welcomed, where you feel at home when you're not at your house. When you're given a gift like that, when you have that sense of community and family and, just people supporting each other, if you're given a gift like that, you have to pay it forward. It's not something you can keep to yourself. It's something that you want to share with as many people as possible, and to do everything that you can to keep something like that going. Comedyworx is more than a theater, it's more than a stage, and it's more than performances. Comedyworx is a community of people who really care about each other and want to support each other no matter what it is they decide to do.
Anything else you want to add?
Why are you bothering me to do this interview?